Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
You don't notice the tension at first. It's a concert after all. The lights are dim, the crowd is buzzing, and Coldplay's frontman Chris Martin is warming up the stage with his usual charm. But then the jumbotron flickers to life. A kiss cam sweeps through the arena, pausing on couples laughing, some kissing awkwardly, others waving. And then it lands on Andy Byron, former CEO of Astronomer, sitting beside Kristin Cabot, his company's chief people officer. They're locked in what looks like an intimate embrace. For a split second, Byron smiles, arms around Cabot like the world isn't watching, but the mood shifts fast. Cabot recoils, covering her face. Byron ducks out of frame. The crowd laughs, but the internet does more than that. It explodes. Memes, reaction clips, and out-of-context screen recordings go viral before the concert even ends. Chris Martin, not knowing the chaos he just ignited, jokes, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure what to do. But that quip becomes fuel, now quoted in every tabloid and reposted on every major platform. Within hours, theories start flying. Is this an affair? Was it just a misunderstanding? And most importantly, why haven't they said anything? 3 days later, Byron quietly resigns. The company's leadership page updates without ceremony. Cabot, still listed. No statements, no explanations. But the damage? Already done. Now Byron is taking Coldplay to court, suing for $20 million, claiming a gross invasion of privacy and career-ending exposure.
First off, I'd like to start off by saying Chris Martin is a little rat and a snake, and Coldplay is the worst band in human history. He broke the bro code. They just couldn't let me clap some cheeks in peace. They had to go out there and expose me in front of millions of people, and now my wife is about to take half my fortune and I'm left without any cheeks to clap.
The concert moment, he argues, was a setup, a viral spectacle that spiraled out of control. And now people are asking, if you were caught on a live camera doing something questionable, would you blame the camera or the actions that got you there? You wake up to headlines calling you a cheater, memes flooding your phone, friends texting you screenshots before you even see the footage yourself. For Andy Byron, that's exactly what happened. The moment that kiss cam footage hit social media, he stopped being a CEO and started being a punchline. But here's the twist. Byron claims he didn't even know he was on camera until it was too late. According to leaked legal documents tied to his $20 million lawsuit, he says Coldplay had no right to use his image, let alone display it to an audience of tens of thousands live and millions more online after the fact. His legal team is calling it orchestrated humiliation. Byron's attorney argues the band, or their crew, targeted him specifically, knowing it would make headlines. Why? Because of who he is. A high-profile tech executive sitting beside a woman who wasn't his wife, inside a venue filled with cameras. That hug was private, he claims. And the moment Coldplay's production team chose to spotlight it, they turned his personal life into entertainment content without consent. But critics say the hug wasn't the problem. It was what the hug implied, especially after Cabot pulled away and covered her face. Some even say that reaction is what made the moment go viral. So here's the dilemma. If you're in public, do you really have a right to privacy? Would you hold the band responsible for pointing a camera your way? Or is that just the risk you take when you're living in the spotlight? And perhaps a deeper question, if Byron had nothing to hide, why does he feel so exposed? Let us know what you think. You're sitting in the back of a crowded theater, and suddenly, your face flashes across the giant screen. Not because you asked for it, not because you did anything special, but because someone behind the scenes made a split-second decision to zoom in. That's the core of Andy Byron's legal argument. His $20 million lawsuit doesn't just accuse Coldplay of embarrassment, it accuses them of negligence and reckless endangerment of his career and mental health. According to filings, Byron alleges that the camera operator or team responsible violated industry norms by not obtaining verbal or visual consent before broadcasting the intimate moment. While Coldplay fans may be used to the band's signature crowd scans and kiss cams, Byron's team argues that there's a line, and it was crossed. The damage was instant. Within 48 hours, Byron had resigned from Astronomer, the data analytics company he once led. Even worse, a fake apology post quoting Coldplay lyrics circulated online, falsely attributed to him, amplifying the humiliation. Some believe this fake post only spread further because the band never clarified what really happened behind the scenes. That silence, Byron says, added fuel to the fire. And now, his lawsuit claims the fallout didn't just cost him a title, it's cost him his reputation, mental health, and likely future opportunities. Public opinion, however, remains split. Some believe he's overreacting and trying to sue his way out of a scandal he caused. Others say this is a wake-up call about boundaries between entertainment and privacy, especially in an era where every show doubles as a viral clip factory. So what would you do if your private moment was turned into a public circus? Would you walk away, or would you sue the ringmaster? You hear the courtroom shuffle as Byron's legal team introduces what they call the smoking gun. Internal emails and footage logs that allegedly prove the Coldplay production crew had access to delay filters and override switches, yet chose not to use them during the infamous Kiss Cam segment. According to the complaint, the crew had up to 10 seconds to cut the feed once they saw what was happening, but instead they let it ride. The moment lingered on the screen long enough for Kristin Cabot to pull away, bury her face in embarrassment, and for Andy Byron to exit the frame entirely.
I am Megan Byron, Andy's wife. Seeing that recent video completely shattered my heart. The intimate moment between Andy and Kristin displayed on the big screen left me feeling betrayed, humiliated, and utterly exposed.
The audience at the show roared with laughter, but for Byron, that was the moment his life publicly unraveled, and the damage didn't stop there. Back at his company, screenshots of the Kiss Cam incident were already flooding Slack channels. According to unnamed employees, morale tanked within hours. One staffer told reporters that Byron's silence made it worse. Rumors began spiraling, not just about the affair, but about whether Astronomer would try to cover it up. Now, the courtroom testimony turns to Chris Martin's on-stage comment, where he jokingly said, "Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy." Byron's lawyers argue that Quip validated every assumption the internet was already making. They say it turned a personal mistake into a public joke, encouraged by one of the most influential bands on Earth. And you can't help but ask, if someone with Chris Martin's reach makes a joke at your expense, can you ever truly walk it back? Or does that moment become part of your identity, etched into the digital world forever? Would you hold the band responsible, or just chalk it up to the price of fame? You're sitting in the gallery as a tech privacy expert takes the stand, flipping through slides that lay out a chilling timeline. It's not just the Kiss Cam moment that's at issue anymore. What's surfacing now is a broader question. Did Coldplay's production team knowingly weaponize crowd footage for viral gain? The expert explains how stadium feeds are now part of massive marketing pipelines, filtered through algorithms, sometimes flagged for shareability. In other words, your live moment is no longer just live. It's analyzed, scored, and possibly boosted for clicks in real time. Byron's legal team seizes on this, arguing that the camera crew didn't just slip up. They chose to air a moment that was intimate, suggestive, and contextually damning. The goal? Engagement, memes, social traction. According to the lawsuit, this was a calculated decision made for digital virality, at the expense of Byron's marriage, reputation, and CEO status. Meanwhile, on social media, the tides are split. Some are calling it justice. Don't get caught if you don't want it going viral, one post reads. But others see it differently. That's not entertainment. That's ambush. You catch a few jurors glance sideways. The tension is shifting. Now it's not just about whether Byron was unfaithful, but whether Coldplay crossed an ethical boundary using their platform to unintentionally or intentionally shame someone for laughs. And now people are wondering, where should we draw the line between public entertainment and personal privacy? If a Kiss Cam ruins your life and the whole world laughs, do you fight back or disappear? You're listening as the courtroom quiets again, this time for a digital forensics expert who specializes in video pipeline architecture. He steps up with a quiet confidence and immediately cues up a breakdown of the concert's production feed. "This wasn't random," he says plainly. "There's a delay buffer in place. Someone approved that clip before it went live." You feel the air shift. The phrase lingers, "Someone approved that clip." Suddenly, the entire story flips. This isn't just a viral accident, it's a decision, a choice made behind the scenes that turned one man's personal moment into public spectacle. The timeline shown next is damning. The footage, apparently, had a 7-second delay buffer, enough time for Coldplay's control booth to cut it, but they didn't. They chose to push it live. Why? Byron's lawyers lean in hard. They show Slack screenshots, internal memos, even training documents that encourage camera ops to scan for high energy or emotional crowd reactions. And while that may be common practice in today's mega events, it also reveals a pattern of calculated content mining, real people turned into clips. But then the bombshell. A video editor from the crew anonymously submitted a statement saying they were told to find something funny, flirty, or weird-looking before each song's chorus, just in case it plays well online. The courtroom is still. Byron doesn't even blink. It's as if he already knew. And now the audience, inside the courtroom and across the internet, is wondering, is Coldplay really to blame for the fallout? Or did Andy Byron bury himself the moment he hugged a woman who wasn't his wife? Would you sue for $20 million if it meant admitting your mistake to the world? You glance around the courtroom, sensing it's all reaching a final crescendo. Byron's legal team stands, composed but firm, ready to deliver closing arguments. Their tone isn't fiery, it's surgical. They walk the jury through every link in the chain, the hug, the broadcast decision, the viral blowback, and the irreversible damage to a man's personal and professional life. They don't argue morality. They argue intent. He didn't sign a waiver, he didn't give consent, and the footage was not only used, it was repurposed, ridiculed, and monetized, the attorney says, flipping to a slide showing headlines, parody tweets, and monetized YouTube clips racking up millions of views. The jurors seem locked in, some taking notes, others just frozen. Then Coldplay's defense fires back, framing the moment as incidental, part of a broader fan engagement strategy they've used for years. We spotlight the human experience, their rep argues. We don't script it, but the contrast is clear. Byron's case isn't about the spotlight. It's about the aftermath, the collapse of a marriage, the resignation from a company, the endless memes that turned him into an unwilling main character. And he argues that none of it would have happened if someone just pressed a different button. You hear murmurs ripple through the gallery as the judge prepares to dismiss the court for the day. But before he does, he delivers a statement that sounds more like a warning. In the age of virality, we must remember that real people live behind the pixels. Outside the courthouse, reporters await the verdict. Social media continues its relentless churn, and the internet debates something bigger. Should public events come with a disclaimer that your personal life might not stay personal? And if a single camera can destroy your life in under 30 seconds, do you still go to the concert?